Welcome everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. Oh, I forgot something just a sec. I don't have my lights on. Just a second. Gotta have my lighting, folks. Oh my goodness. Let me see here. Okay, that's much better. Hi, welcome. We got quite a few of you in here already. Hi, Sarah. Hello, Cameron. That's my hubby. He's downstairs. Karen, welcome. Crystal, she joined the Pastel Insider last week at the end of the live on Tuesday. Well, welcome, Crystal. We're so glad that you're part of the Pastel Insider membership. Peg, welcome. Janelle, hello, hello, hello. So I am trying something new today. Right now, these look like little bowling pins, but they won't forever. It's just, it'll be a journey. You can't tell already, they're birds, and they're whimsical birds, and we're going to have some fun with stencils. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do, and I needed to take a full day and a half to just kind of sit with all of that and figure out what we're going to do today. And I have some really fun ideas for this. So let me get everyone welcomed in here. Oh, Stacy's in here. Hello. Blustery today in Lakewood. It's pretty blustery here too, Stacy. Luis, welcome. Michelle, so glad that you're here. All right. Well, this technique is really, really powerful, really, really fun, and it really shows you how value can be your superpower. I think value is really underestimated in when you're a beginner and you're just learning. If you can just choose a few topics to focus on with your art that's a little bit more technical, I think you'll really see your art level up quickly. A lot of people will even do value studies before they paint their piece, especially landscape pastelists, portraits, anything. I don't do a lot of thumbnails all the time because I like to just go in and have a good time. I'm not as a traditional pastel artist, but this type of technique's been used for a long time. And a lot of artists just work in charcoal and black and monochromatic and all of that. So if this is something that speaks to you, feel free to line up with it and create more. I'm going to talk a little bit about the supplies. This is a different technique from my full color pastel. Now, they're pastel, the full color ones have to be protected behind glass. This is a takeoff of a mixed media charcoal, but instead of using all charcoal, I'm using the Black PanPastel, which is an ultra fine pigment. And I'm working with that in combination with the mixed media extra large paper. That's what I got right here. And this paper is what I use for this technique. I always try to give you guys a peek of some of the more loose things I've done. A lot of this stuff was just 15 minutes. Whenever I do my black, I like to just give you guys an insight, just some play that I like to do. You can do so many things with this technique that can really have you grow as an artist. So it's really important to work with the same paper with this technique. I have a lot of people that come in and get to know me, and maybe they're new, and then they think this is the way I work all the time. And I use sanded pastel paper and full color for my full color pieces that need to be framed and protected behind glass. This one, you can frame it, protect it behind glass. You can also mount it, you can seal it, you can throw all kinds of things at it. Now, the reason why this is so different is we're using the white paper as our highlights. So if we're looking on a value scale here, we're going to be using these whites, and the paper is the white. It's a lot like how watercolorists work, if you've ever dabbled in that a little bit. So when you're using the white as the paper, then when you're sealing it and all of that, you're not knocking down any white because your paper is the white. That is where it's really different from this with my full color technique, because the full color technique, I'm adding whites, I'm adding different tints and hues, and if you spray something on that or try to seal it, it will basically can really ruin the piece, or it can really take all the whites down. It just depends. So, all right, I'm gonna just say hi. I know a few of you roll it in the chat here. I can see you guys. Peg says it's blustering where she's at. Laura, hi, welcome. Send check. You'll be in and out. Not doing so great. Had a friend over 35 years pass this last weekend. Well, yeah, that's really hard, Laura. I'm really sorry about your loss. That's a hard one. Sending you lots of support. Stacy, I'm so excited for this Black PanPastel project today. I've been struggling to finish my black eraser gold one, not a self-portrait. Well, I hope this inspires you. My goal is to get you guys inspired to show up, inspired to create, and that is what I'm hoping to accomplish here with you guys today. We got Katie in the house. Welcome, Katie. Luis. Okay, you guys are all supporting Laura, which is wonderful. I'm so glad that we have such a great community to be able to support each other. So what I'm going to do is I've got my midtones in here, and I want to talk a little bit about being a pastel insider. What does that mean? The Pastel Insider basically transfers these lives into full-on lessons. So you get videos of the before, how I get everything set up, what I'm using, you get more in depth, and then you get the line art, and you get all the behind the scenes videos that aren't shown here live. And it's a great way to really dive deeper and level up, because the line art can really help you just relax and have fun. So if you're interested in learning more about becoming a Pastel Insider, you can follow this link, because it's definitely, I think would be a lot of fun to have you in the group. And then here is the link for that. So this, everything gets loaded in on Fridays, and then you can go at your own pace. And you also get a tiled version of the line art. So if you only have an 8.5 by 11 printer, you can tile it up and tape it up. I show you how to do that. So there's a lot of great behind the scenes things, and you can test it out and see how you like it. You can cancel at any time, all that jazz. If you follow that link, it'll definitely give you more information. Now, before I go further into the thing, I got to tell you guys, I'm having a special celebration as launching this Pastel Insider membership for the members only, and it's a private live stream on this Saturday, November 16th. Do I have that right? I think, yeah, November 16th is this Saturday. It's like, I can't believe how quickly time flies. So it'll be the same times, 1:30 to 3:30. And what we're going to be doing is we'll be doing a full lesson. And we're going to be doing something similar to this. And I'm calling it the Journey of Light. And we're going to be, it's not going to be the same as this one, but it'll be similar. You can never repeat the exact same thing over and over again. So we'll be doing that. You're going to get the line art ahead of time for this one, just a special event where you get that. I can't usually do that very often. And so you'll be able to come in and paint along with me if you want. And it's going to be this type of format with the live. And I'm really excited about it. So that's this Saturday. So if you want to join in that private event, join the Pastel Insider. You'll get that and plus much, much more. So let's see here. Welcome, Chrisella. So glad that you're here. Paula's here. Let's see. Oh, this is your first time here. Paula Hardesty from Louisville. Welcome. We have a few Paulas, so I'm glad that you mentioned that because your name just says Paula, so that's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying being a Pastel Insider, Paula. Welcome. Glad this is your first live. That's awesome. Let's see. So glad. Yeah, good welcome, you guys. You're so sweet. Oh, Suzanne Thames made it. She's here. Awesome. Well, Michelle, I'm glad that you're looking forward to it. So basically what I got going on here is I got my artwork transferred, and we're working big this time. The reason why I'm working so big is because it is a, this is an 18 by 24. And the thing with an 18 by 24 is that I can use these stencils, and the stencils don't look huge. So if I go on and I want to play, what I'm hoping to do is blend out some stencils in here. I want to try to make this look really mixed media vibe, just stenciling it out and, you know, having this be a circle composition. And when I'm doing that, I just think that if I worked on a 12 by 16, it makes these stencils look bigger. And so I find working on this size really helps me get the stencils in there and be able to have some space to work in with them. And if you don't have stencils, I'm showing you an example here of different patterns you can doodle in yourself. You know, those types of things, you know, when you're working if you don't have stencils. Stencils are just fun, and I'm just bringing those in. But you could imagine that if I had these, that it, you know, if I wouldn't be able to really use them. So that's why we're working big. Plus I like working bigger with my, with the Black PanPastel. I feel like it's a lot easier to get the effects that I want when I am working big. The coverage is a lot easier to go faster and things like that. Oh, Paula says, yes, I've been hearing you say Paula in the other lives. We have I think 2 other Paulas in the group, so I will try to remember. Big is better. That's, you know, in this case, Stacy, that's a yes. So I'm going to go in here. I got my darks in, and I don't want my stars to go away. So I'm going to try this technique out, and you know, if I was choosing to do gold in the end, I could just put the stars in last. But I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to go gold yet. So I'm going to pull some of these stars out before I totally lose them with my black. And then what I'm going to do is I'll probably go over them again when I put the black in, and that is going to help keep them. So I'm going to show you, like if I have that going and then I want to make this even blacker, I'm going to be able to bump up against these stars again and get that black in here and not feel like I'm going to lose them totally. And I want to have the option to be, well, unless I bump up against it really hard like that, but I want the option to be able to not do gold. So I'm gonna put, you know, they have the carbon, not the carbon pencil, they have the charcoal pencil that I use to support all of this. They have that on them. So all of this has been transferred and then supported with the charcoal pencil. The charcoal pencil allows you to do washes over the whole thing with PanPastel and still have your image show up. So right now I've got this dark part in here that I want to bring darker, but I don't want to lose the stars. I can see the stars, but they're really faint. And we'll just see how this goes. There's a lot of exploring I'm planning on doing today. A lot of times I'll keep this part really clean and just do patterns behind it. I want to play around with stencils and just go a little crazy with it and explore. You know, I'm not totally stuck on like, if this turns out, then wonderful. But you got to give yourself a little bit of room to try new things without going in so cautious that you're going to mess it up. And when you do that all the time, you really get a little stifled, at least in my opinion for myself, that, oh my gosh, I'm going to ruin this. You know, it can be a little bit where I'm not taking the chances. And I have these ideas in my head that I want to execute, but sometimes you just got to be willing to, like, maybe the composition won't look as clean, but I don't really want clean in this case. And the birds are my focal image that you can see, but I don't really know what I want to put in the background, so I thought making it fun with the stencils might be kind of interesting. So you can see how I'm just bringing those out. I can see them enough to do that. And then we're gonna at least have those in there where they show up. So a lot of this is getting your, you're getting your base in, your structure in, and you're bringing it all into a mid-tone. So about right here on to the value scale. And when you're in the mid-tone, then you can push things back and you can pull things forward. It's a lot like, now I know that the paper underneath is my highlight. And knowing that allows me to like make different, you know, I can use this pencil and make all kinds of, you know, this is basically a pen, but I can make all kinds of patterns in here that you know, gives me the freedom. You have to put something down to pull something up. So that is the biggest key to the whole thing. Now you can see this is super magical and flexible because I don't like the pen marks there, and I can just knock it all down and then start over with those marks, and it's pretty flawless. So the biggest thing is, you know, trying to get a really smooth background. You can see it's a little blotchy, but I think down the road with the stencils and all that, it'll kind of even out. Oh, you guys are chatting today. I like that. We got 32 of you in the house. I wonder if we'll break my record of 40. I think 43 is my record in chat. Let's see. I have been very naughty over here. All the core pan pastels will arrive next week. Oh, no, you're not naughty, Susan. You're investing in yourself. I think you're going to have a great time. I'm excited for you. Christmas is early. You're going to love them. You're going to love them. Paula says, I love stencils. I buy and cut my own with my circuit. I have a few that my girlfriend bought for me. I mean, she made for me with her circuit. She did a few that were, whatchamacallit, the Circle of Life pattern. Let me show you guys. They're kind of cool. They're a little thinner, but you can do a lot of neat things with that. Let me show you guys. I have some other stencils in here, but she did, let me find my favorite one. She did this one. So like, I think you can, yeah, you can see the reflection. So they're thinner, but they work great. And she made that on her own circuit thing. She gave me a couple different sizes. I just, you know, like even if I had a big one, I have a large one that I was going to, this one, that I could have even put like behind, you know, but I haven't used these as much as I thought I would use them, but it's fun to have them in lots of different sizes. I think she also did these kind of like, these little bugs. I haven't used that one either. And then I do have like a bird that she gave me the reverse from and the stencil from. So yeah, it's pretty amazing what you can do with them, with the circuit. Oh, and she got the pencils that I was last week. Well, that's awesome, Susan. Yeah, Laura, I think they are a little challenging, but there's probably a YouTube video on it, right? It's just taking that time to wanting to learn something new like that. I think that's kind of sometimes the thing for me. So I'm just gonna get warmed up in here, get this background a little darker, because this is my darkest value on the piece. I was trying to think of what to do behind them, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do my traditional circle that I love because I think it's really a strong composition. So you can see how putting those stars in, now I have something to go around a little bit easier. And a lot of this is patience of building up the values. If you're wanting to rush through it, you're gonna be fighting it, because value is all about learning to see a little differently. Like, it teaches you to see the subtleties in the difference range, because that's how, you know, all of the painting is being able to start seeing that. And with color, it can be a little overwhelming. So doing it here with the black or the one color can be a really powerful way to kind of see the subtleties of value and kind of get a good grasp on the whole concept. So I use value for my composition to guide the eye, and this is going to keep the eye right here in the center with these guys who are in my focal point. And that dark black is going to help bring that eye into the piece. Thank you, Michelle, for cheering everyone on. I appreciate that. I always appreciate your support, Michelle. Yes, liking my videos, watching them, all of that really helps my channel, and I'm really wanting this channel to grow. I have to be patient myself. It takes time, but I'm almost done getting this in here. I really want to make sure these tension points, where tension point is like where things really meet up and they connect. I like to have those make sure they're really strongly put in there. Now my wand is already, I have a tendency to go through wands like probably twice as fast and alive, because I'm doing a lot of things, doing a lot of talking, a lot of thinking. So a lot of this is natural to me, the painting. So a lot of the other things I'm juggling, and I'll disconnect with my wand a little bit. Which I think of them like paintbrushes now, because I've used them for, gosh, this January will be 7 years that I have been doing pan pastel. Best decision I ever made. And I definitely didn't have YouTube videos when I started out. So one of my reasons why I'm on here is to really help demystify a lot of things I had to do on my own with the journey. And a lot of it has to do with finding the right supplies for the project that you're trying to do and how to navigate that. I think the paper and the quality of your supplies can really make a difference in your experience. And pan pastel is really reasonably priced. Merry Artists that I work with, they're a local art supply. They have a great online store. And if you are within the US, you can save 10% by using coupon code DAWNVS. And the link's down below in the description. But they have some of the best prices. Even the larger stores, they have some of the best prices just as their main price. And they also take a lot of care in shipping, and they ship fast. Some of you in the group have definitely gone to Merry Artists, so you know how amazing they are. And they're a family-owned business, so that's always nice to support. Okay, so we're getting those darks in there. Oh, we're getting some circuit advice. The bug, yep, the bug is fun. Oh, Michelle, that's exciting. Glad you're getting your Caran d'Ache pencils. So now I'm just looking at the values that are sticking out at me that I want to push back. And the stars are kind of glowy anyway, so around the stars I'm okay if it's not perfectly solid. So I'll be able to kind of, put some color around this and bring out the border. So once I have that dark down, it's just going to layer. So I'm using the bigger sponges for coverage, but I'm going to show you how I can pull this border out. I'm thinking about adding another line on the border. Kind of want it to be really whimsical, so I'm thinking about adding one more line on here. And I don't need it, I don't want it to be a perfect. I used a circle maker to get the first line on there. And then I use that as a guide so I can be wonky with it. So now I'm going to knock that down. And then what I want to show you is just a basic example of how I'm using the erasers. So for the erasers that I love to use, I have all the supplies will be listed below. I think they're already there, even with the Merry Artist link. And I have on the Merry Artist link, you can also go look at my favorite supplies page. Even if you buy from them or not, you can go look. It's a nice page, has all my favorite supplies on it. I use the Vanish 4-in-1. They sell these. They actually special ordered these from Jerry's. So when you do a whole order, you can throw these in. And these are really great. I cut them up. They're a white eraser. They don't have any ghosting. I cut them into slices to get different shapes. So say you don't have the pen eraser, then I make a little pie slice. I don't know, I think you can see that. So I cut them up and I can make a pie slice, and then I can use them to, oh, that one has a little dent in it. So but see, I can make lines now. And I can make where I can use it in different, thicknesses. And it's like having a brush, and then if I have this big one, I can use that to make marks, just like a paintbrush. I can use the corner, the edge of it to make lines. It's just this pen eraser is the Mono Zero. This is just, you can see the lines are going to be even thinner, and you can do doodles with this, which I'm a doodler, so I love the lines and be able to make the squiggles and marks like that. So you want to play around with your erasers and get to know them a little bit and see what kind of marks they make. Now the white eraser, this pulls up a lot easier than your kneaded eraser. And the kneaded eraser is this little guy. Now you always want to pull your kneaded eraser to get it clean. That's how you mix in the stuff you're pulling up. Now I can make this all different sizes, so I will make it smaller. And then the big thing with the kneaded eraser is I like to mold it to my thumb here, my dirty black pastel, black pastel thumb. So see how it's curved there? You can shape it into all different types of shapes. And then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to pull up. This is a softer pull. If I was doing the white eraser, see I'm pulling like that. You can see how I'm pulling that. If I use the white eraser, you're going to see that's going to pull a lot harder. And these different ranges of erasers help give you different effects. So if I have this pattern right here and I want to pull some of it out, I can do the whole pattern with the eraser like this, and then it's going to pull that section out. So that is the basics with the erasers, but you got to put stuff down to build them up. And you also want to make sure you handle your paper without oil on your hands. Unfortunately today I put some essential oil on, like perfume. I think I left it on my hands and it kind of got on my work. So you can erase it to a certain point and get those marks out, and but sometimes they'll just kind of not go away, like right there. I think I got my palm on there. I think it's actually my palm, which, you know what, it's part of the art. I've marked the art with, and I can always go over it and play around. This technique of erasing and then lightly going over it will definitely take that out most of the time. You can see that's almost gone. So that's a technique too. Let me catch up on chat here. Well, thank you for sharing my live on your Facebook page, Stacy. You're so supportive. So many of you guys are. This has been such a great community. Welcome, Sharon. I thought I said hi to you. I'm not sure. Oh, no, you just came in. Sharon Robinson, welcome to the group. So glad that you're here today. Okay, so I'm not sure if I have the values exactly where I want them on this circle, but we're going to start small here, and I'm going to show you how I can pull that circle up. So I've molded my kneaded eraser, And now I can pull that up. Now if I want more detail, I can just use my supporting dowel here, and I can even just put the pencil in here, this pen eraser, and put maybe just some stripes in here. I have these little ovals, and I'm going to consider these little orbs. So I can pull that up slowly and give them kind of a rounded vibe. So you can see how I just pulled that one out. I can pull this one out. I'm going really light, and then I can go a little harder where I want that light source to be the most. And you know, these could be spots where I put gold in. I don't know. If I want, kind of thought these lines would show up a little bit more, I can always put the line in again. So I'm just starting to pull that up and get it going. If I want that line to be more defined, I can always put my line back in here with the charcoal pencil. The charcoal pencil kind of sits on the top a little bit, even though it's so permanent. And I kind of want them to be wonky. I don't want it to be a perfect circle. But I do want this line to show when it comes to this. All right, so we're pretty warmed up now. Now I can go in and maybe start working on the birds, one of the bird's faces. And I'm going to put my values in, and I'm just playing around. Like I just took, you know, and made random bird heads. So I need to play around with them and see what I want to do, because they're not after a specific bird. So for these, I'm thinking like this is a cheek, so I could even go maybe a little darker around his face. And then maybe his cheek, you know, I might even go darker there, and I can put a cool pattern in the cheek. So just get this in here to where we have something to work with. So I'll probably bring up the value in the cheek as we go here. I could go over the whole thing, but I want to at least be able to see the line underneath. And I'm going to work slowly so I don't lose the lines. Like I want to make sure I can see them there. Like I can barely see this line. So I might go and zoom in a little bit so you guys can get a closer look at what I'm doing here. I have my zoom back sign that I like to use that reminds me. So that's going to take just a second. I might just do something like that, so I don't have to readjust my whole camera. Okay. Yeah, so I think you guys can see that pretty good. Oh, hi April, welcome. So glad you popped in for a bit. Oh, good. I'm so glad your surgery went well, April. Sending you healing energy. Hopefully that heals really quickly for you. Good Zoom. Post it. What are you saying, Stacy? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're zoomed in here. You know the other thing I need to do? Let me check my lighting here. There we go. That's about where I'm at. Okay. I'm gonna go with this. So I'm gonna work on this little guy's face. And you can see that I'm not going to push anything back farther than a 10 or 9 here, because this is the background. So I have that value taken up. So a 10 is going to put anything on that plane back to a 10. So if you look at it like planes of values, you're breaking down the values to a reasonable amount where you can, if you're closer, that's going to be the 0 and the 1. If you're pushing something back, that's going to be a 10, a 9, and an 8. So that's the shadow, and this is the highlight. So a highlight pulls those forward, and a shadow pushes it back. So that can be a really powerful thing to acknowledge and to learn. So I'm hanging it out around, you know, keeping it in the mid-tone range, or staying right around here, but I'm pushing it back a bit. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm thinking that my light, there's 45-degree down, so I'm just going to play with that idea. And you got to put value in to pull it out, unless you were just painting from, you know, you're bringing it up all at once. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. So right about here, right under the eye, I can choose to make this darker or lighter, but I want to put a little bit of value under the eye. And just like a person's mouth, we got to have a little bit of value in the beak. Now, I'm not into like super realism, hyper realism wildlife. That's not my jam. I definitely incorporate realism into my work, but I like to have a little bit of whimsy, and I like to have a little bit of just abstract and wonkiness, and that just gives me a lot of freedom, and that's what I like about it. So I've got that pretty much, you know, in there. Just a little light right there, but you're going to see that I'm trying to think of what I want to do for that pattern. So I'm going to show you our first little pattern moment here, and I'm going to use my mono 0. Now I have that guide. I want to make sure that my stick is off the paper, so it's not marking up my paper. I have a tendency to mark that up quite a bit. So I'm also going to go in really quick here. I got a little ahead of myself, but I'm going to use I'm going on the edge of my pastel, my pan pastel, and I'm going to fill in this eye as good as I can. And I'm definitely going to push that eye to a 10. Now, getting to know these tools, it just takes time. And then once you get to know them, you guys become friends, and you don't even think of it as a soft tool. You think of it like a paintbrush. I mean, even paintbrushes at the beginning are awkward. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do with that. I'm going to get that little fleck of life in here. Now I got to wiggle with that because I've put a lot of dark in there. I can also use white if I wanted to. I could use white, but I'm just going to go in there because I want to just use the paper. So this is that mono 0, and I'm going to start putting a pattern in. I have to rotate it, and sometimes I even have to cut off the tips sometimes, but so I'm thinking I want the whole cheek to go, so I gotta kind of play around with this so it goes right. I don't know if this is going to work. I might have to try a different pattern technique, but I don't know if I love that. But you can see that you can try out some different patterns. I might just go and put one pattern in and put some dots around it and then actually put some feathers in there. But see how I can play? I had it in my head that might be kind of cool. But look how I can now erase it. Let's see here. April has a good idea. I need to see what April's idea was. Oh, I see. Oh, you're so sweet, Stacy. I don't have a dowel, so I've been using my back scratcher. It's a little bent fingers. That's, hey, this is from a toy with a silicone cover on it. It's one of those fun toys. That's awesome. Way to go with it. Okay, so you can see how I didn't love that. So I can play around. So I can also go and go, well, hey, let's see what some little feathers would look like if I put those in. And if you don't, know what you want to do for those, I just find a bird. And then a lot of it's just, going with a texture of feathers. And this is where the realism and the actual, whimsy all start coming together. So when you do that, then you can pull up some of these lighter spots. And then I can even create pattern up here. But I think what I want to do is actually have some dots in here. So I got to really wiggle, push down and wiggle with this pencil. I mean, it's a pen, sorry, it's an eraser pen. The mono zero for the win. If it's not picking up, I'll rotate it. I can rub it on the paper over here and clean off my tip. Got to be patient. So you can see how I can start putting in some patterns here. And then I can even make that even more realism if I want, just to kind of incorporate that in. I can take the edges of the pan pastel, load it on the edge of the wand here and hit some of those darker little moments in there. And then you're pushing that back and forth. So you're trying to leave some of those whites and you're trying to, push back the darks. So I'm trying to get in between where the darks are hitting. And it's all depends what's speaking to you. And then I can go and pull some of those out, make it look a little bit more natural. And so we just got it started there, so it'll be interesting to see if I do the whole head, what I want to do there. Let's see. I like that, Stacy. It's my Harry Potter wand. That's fun. I don't have, okay. I've been finding using a bit of glassine on top and leaning on that a lot easier for me. I find the dowel a bit hard. The dowel is only going to work, I think, for you if you're working at an easel. I work exclusively at an easel, so for me, the dowel is what I need, and it's kind of a the glassine would be the reverse. So like how you feel comfortable with the glassine, if I was working seated, I think the glassine would be great. So I don't know, I'm just kind of going with it. I just like these little bird heads, and I can even go and put like a dark line in here. I don't know, I can even try to use my carbon pencil. And you can even use this to go into some of those little moments. You'll just notice when you're working, you'll see how it sits on top of the paper. So I don't necessarily love that. So once I have like the bird, the pattern down, that's just the beginning. So once I want to make sure my pattern's strong enough to withstand the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to bring these eyes out a little bit more. And I'll be able to push the beak back. So now once I got the pattern in here, you can take the eraser, the kneaded eraser, and you can pull a highlight. So if I want to have, you know, certain spots be a little darker, I can push that and I can pull it. So let's say if I want to push these back, but I still have the pattern in there. I want to make it go darker behind the head. And then I can go and mold this on my finger. And you know, I don't know if I'm going to love the feather look, because I'm not going to do the feather look all over. So I'm just playing around. I mean, I can literally go back and erase that. So I got this molded on my finger, and I can start pulling a highlight on his forehead. So now you can see how that just sat there and pushed everything else back on the value scale. But what this does is it does something called, what I call, it marries it all. So it becomes one with the design. If I want, you know, there'd be a little bit more out on his cheek. I can pull a little bit out on that cheek, and you're going to get that really pretty feather look, but you can see how in the beginning it wasn't that cute. And then when you start, you know, putting them together, the pattern is the beginning, and then you can still push that forward and pull it back. So if I didn't like that, you know, I could go back and start over again, and that's perfectly, you know, easy to do. So I I do want to put like some pattern on here, but I think I'm going to wait on having that be so dark. And then if I want to get this line a little bit crispy, I'll be able to play around with that. And I can also take my pen and I can make some of these little feathers. I want to keep with the flow of things. But you can also, you know, bring them over the line a little bit, so you get a little bit more of that feathery look. So just those little moments can really add a lot of impact, and all of this is value. So I'm really just trying to be aware, and if you want to look at birds, you can study them a little bit and see, you know, where their highlights are coming out. I have a bird that I'm looking at, but the values aren't anything close to it. I'm actually just looking at it for the structure. But at least you can kind of see. So once we get all our little birds' heads, I think it's going to be really cute. Let me check up on chat here. I'm going to get a little drink of water. Oh, you're out of glass. I had to order some more glassine too. I've been using the stick part of a magazine. Oh, the slick part of a magazine. I've never liked the dowel. Yeah, you definitely, I don't know, how many of you, raise your hand, are sitting doing your pastel versus, you know, raise your hand if you're sitting, because I'm thinking a lot of you guys are sitting instead of standing at an easel. Oh, yep. The left looks like a penguin. A lot of them look like kind of penguin-y, but I'm going with it. And I think once I bring their personalities in, they're going to look like birds. But I thought the exact same thing. So we got a few there. We got sitting, Susan's sitting, Paula's sitting, sitting with a desktop easel. Okay. I sit, but I have a board upright. I think I've sit, glassine, easel, back scratcher. Yeah, see? Exactly, like Katie, like you have to find what's going to work for you in your situation. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to play around with the stencils a little bit. We've done a little head, and I think that's a great start. And then I'm going to zoom out, and I want to play around with trying to, so here's something to really think about. I'm gathering my thoughts here for a second. When you want to do abstract, you have to do, in my opinion, on my journey, I find I have to put abstract in sooner. Even with your drawings, I will put the whimsy in, put the kind of some abstract marks in there to get it going. If you just leave it and you don't have any abstract or any whimsy or anything in there in the initial structure, then you're going to end up fighting it the whole time. So what I want to do here is I want to put on a few stencils and kind of get the feel of what my idea is and see what that looks like. I really want to go with this whole center and the things coming out and fading off. That's my idea. But have I done that? No. I've played with stencils a lot, but I've decided during these lives I really have to explore and try new ideas out, because I can't always, you know, play it safe all the time. And plus I'm hoping it encourages you guys to explore too. Ah, wow, I got that on first try here. So I got to fix my lighting here. All right. So we're hoping penguin turned to, you know, songbird will happen. But that's, I was thinking they look like bowling pins, but I'm hoping once I get these things in, it'll be really interesting to kind of see how they evolve. And I also have all these little orbs in here. So what I'm thinking for, like, just you know, I'm just going to kind of take the, you know, Band-Aid off and put in something to get started. Maybe something that's not as strong, but something I know that'll be pretty successful. And we'll just play off of this corner here. So this is, we've all learned from many people in the group have taught me, this is called sequin waste. It's also another name for it. And it's very popular in mixed media, as some of you know. I'm just going to kind of get some color in. So when I put these stencils in, I got to figure out if I want them in front of the piece or behind. So I want to put it behind the bird's wing here. So I'm looking at that through the holes. Now my idea is that these stencils in here are going to gradiate out. See, so I'm going to use value to play with that. I do want to use a mix of stencils. I would really like to see how that works. I want to go a little darker where these hit in that tension point. I might have to pull up a little bit of it. Now I will say that this technique really works well with the stencils. So you can see how I didn't go real rough, you know, I didn't go real dark here because I want that to fade off. Now this is where I'll be able to kind of play around with my erasers. I could pull up on some of this and bring it out. I can push it back. So usually when I use stencils, the one suggestion I can give you is I will use them in 3 different spots. That just gives a sense of unity, and I find that it's especially good when you're trying something new, because that's pretty much a design thing. You want to repeat things in your work and in your design. So I'm probably going to go over to this other corner over here, might put some down here. I want to get bold and go on the top, so that's something I'm thinking about too. Now compositionally, composition is a really great way. I talk about it a lot because, like value being your superpower, understanding just some basics of composition can be extremely helpful in leveling up your work. When I just decided to focus on like the cruciform composition, the circle composition, and the L composition. Let's say those are my 3. If I could just do all my paintings in those compositions, like it really, it'll repeat pretty powerful. So this is, I'm going into the circle one where I'm keeping everything in the center of the piece. So with that, this is what's going to help guide me. The composition is going to help guide me to make decisions. That is something that if you could really grasp onto that when you're drawing, when you're playing, when you're doodling, when you're doing things, even if I do a thumbnail sketch, like just something really quick, like an idea, I want to use like those composition ideas when I'm doing that. And focal points are the 4, when you divide your piece up into thirds, you got your focal point, like this eye is in a focal point, and this one. Focal points are really strong too. So I would say that the 3 compositions that I talked about, line up with one of them, you know, or 2, like say it's circle and the cruciform. Practice them. Most of my work is around the cruciform and around the circle. So last week I did an L composition. Sometimes they'll be really straightforward and sometimes they'll be a little bit more, you know, abstract. Now the one thing with these is a lot of times I'll try to wipe them off before I, you know, use them again, but I think with this, I'm just going to go with it. And I'm looking at that. I have an orb right here, so I'm looking at those lines, and that is that's going to guide me. And I want this to go behind the the piece, like the other things that are in here. So I'm going darker towards this way, and then I'm going to gradient out. Gradient is where on the value scale we're going to go from like a 10% to, you know, a dark. So we're using the gradient. So there's a transition. It helps with transitions to make it not as bold of a transition. So now we have that one in there, and we're just going to start layering, because you guys know I love to layer. Hey, is Jonas in the house? Welcome, Jonas. Hello, hello. Well, thank you, Lynn. I'm glad that you love watching me explore. I overthink this a lot sometimes. I mean, I'm going on 9 months of live streaming, and if you were my husband and we could all sit down, he would just shake his head. Like, there's some weeks where I'm like, oh, I'm totally fine. And then there's other weeks where I'm like overthinking the heck out of it. And a lot of it is I just have to, with my time, give myself time to explore, try things out. And if I do it live and it doesn't turn out, if they end up looking like bowling ball, you know, what is it, bowling pins in the end, I highly doubt that, but I gotta just go with it. So for you pastel insiders, I talk a lot about this area here because I did not know if I wanted to support it with the charcoal pencil or not. And I ended up supporting it because I was hem-hawing because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Stacy says, I love how easily she says she's just gonna try it. Okay, let's try bold. Boom, there it is. But just as easily she can erase that baby out. No harm, no foul. That's your favorite part of my teaching style. Well, thank you, Stacy. I really appreciate that, you guys. Okay, Paula's got a tabletop easel. What's a punchalina or punchanella? What's a punchanella, Luis? Paula says punchanella. Great advice. Okay, I'm caught up on chat. I like how you use that guide to paint over it. Do you mean the stencil, Jonas? That is great. You're such an awesome teacher. I thought I was brave as an artist, but you have given me so much new information and courage to try abstract and not be so perfect. Yay, Susan. I think I need to have that. You guys, I'm putting it out there. If you guys want to send me some testimonials, I need some testimonials for my website. I need them for YouTube. So many of you guys are super talented writers, and it's hard to pull a quote sometimes, but I might have to pull that because I really like it. So yeah, send me some testimonials if you guys want to email me at art@dawnvanderstoep.com. I don't know if you have time, but it would be awesome. Okay, cool, Jonas. Jonas, tell me where you're from. I'm trying to remember because I think you're not in the US. So I'm going to go here. You know what? I might save this one and put it inside the guy. I might put one little tuft of it up here. Let's just see what it looks like. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to get my circles where they're half on there. I might not go as high. We'll just see. I'll just do a smaller touch of it up here. All right, we're gonna see how it goes. So I got this one down, and they're pretty messy. So I'll put a towel down below and then wipe off on the top. And sometimes I just use my alcohol spray, and that helps too to wipe things off. I just got to get a towel. Oh, I put this dirty towel in there. I got to put that in my. I love these microfiber towels. I get them off Amazon, and these are what I use to wipe off my my soft tools on my easel. All right, I don't know if I'm going to use this one again later, but I'm just going to get it wiped off a little bit. And then I'm going to play around with another stencil because we got to break the ice and get another stencil in there. But I also think I need to get some in the bird. So, but just getting some on the outside is a good start. So I'm going to think here what I want for another one. I might just go a little, I'm thinking like one of these patterns maybe in there. So I might just go and put a little bit of it down below. And you never know, could come back next Thursday when we're all done and go, oh, didn't like that, but we got to try it. So, and a lot of the things with the stencils is just not going and using the whole thing like a square, like just taking chunks from there. I think once we get the birds with patterns in the birds, and then we can push back and pull forward some of the and I could be playing it a little safe here, but heck, until we get fully warmed up on that, I'm going to play it a little safe. Now, this is underneath. Now, I'm thinking if I get a stencil above this, they'll blend out a little bit. Now, the foam tools work great for this. They don't really wear it down too much because the paper is really smooth and it doesn't seem to be that harsh on them. So I'm going to try to ghost this a little bit. Just get a little bit of gradient. There we go. That one a little more square than I wanted. I said don't do square, and then I did square. And wherever you put your pan pastel down first is going to be the strongest. I've had people try this technique with charcoal and it just doesn't give the right, you just don't have that same finesse with the whole thing. Okay, that's a little bit rounder. We're gonna have other pieces in there, and this is gonna look funny for a while. And I'm just gonna keep strong. So I'm probably gonna go and work on a body here. Maybe I'll work on the center one, or so I can put some of these stencils in there. So to take one of these stencils out, if I didn't like it, I'd probably have to erase it down and then just bring the background back up. And sometimes when I get into the middle of a painting like this, I get obsessive and I think about it all the time, and then an idea will come to me. And it'll help me make the decision on the next spot. So I'm going to save this one because I think I'm going to put it in the center of this guy. So I'm going to wait on that. Now I'm going to pull in some other spots here, and those are going to start playing off each other. You know, the other thing I'm thinking would be cool. Let's just see what this looks like, because I think this like paint splatter. Now I got most of these white ones that I have right here. I got these at Mary Artist. See, like it's gonna start coming together, folks. Like paint splatters, like fix everything. I have quite a few of the paint splatters on here and quite a few of the different patterns, which I think are going to be a lot of fun to play with. But I think what I'm going to do is bring in up, so now that you've kind of gotten a vibe of where I'm going with the stencils and how I'm playing with them, I'm going to start working on one of the birds so I can maybe get a pattern into one of the birds before we're done today. And then I'll catch up on chat too. Oh, he's in Sweden. Jonas is in Sweden. Oh, an ice hotel. That sounds cool. Oh, I love Vikings. Watch all the Viking movies. Sharon's loving the use of the stencils. Awesome. Marty's in the house too. Where's Marty? Did you sneak in here, Marty? Welcome to the group. Hey, we might beat my record today. We're at 38. 43 is my record, you guys. I like how it's all slowly coming together. Well, thank you, Jonas. Michelle. Oh, she's just chatting, saying hello to Marty. I don't see... Oh, there you are, Marty. I see you now. Crystal says, how? Oh, Crystal, how do you store yours? You have them in a... I just have mine in a folder. It's not even a cute folder, guys. I need to get a cute folder. These are all my stencils. It's just... Yeah. It's not even cute. I need to get some cute. So we're going to now... I'm going to go in. I think I'm going to go and just work on this center bird, because if I go in, there's a lot of dark here. I can put in a stencil too. I do want to try to make these to where they kind of blend out into the piece, but we'll just see how it goes. I'm thinking for these, I'm gonna do lines that go down. So I just have to decide. I think I want these to be dark. So I have to kind of put these dark in. You know, I think I could go almost. So sometimes you have to split up, is what I'm trying to say, is you have to split up some of the design. And then when you push it back even darker, it'll stay there. But I'm going to go and bring in this design by pushing these back. And then I'm going to go over it and kind of push the whole body back a little bit. But if I do it all at once, you can go either way. Now you can see if I was working smaller, guys, that it would be a little bit more challenging with some of these parts. I love being able to use this wand for almost all my work. I'd probably be, you know, using a applicator. It's amazing once you get used to the wand though. You can do everything you can do with the applicator, you can do with the wand. This oval wand. And the applicator, I don't have one in front of me, but it's basically like an eyeshadow shaped, but it's a soft tool. And all of these are made out of their high density foam. So now when I'm doing this bird's body, I'm going to be thinking of the values overall. I have his little wings here, so I want those to separate out a little bit, so they're going to be darker inside. Oh, Helene's in the house. Hi, Helene. You commented on my YouTube with such a sweet comment. Thank you so much. I haven't replied to you yet. I think Stacy, you did too. I have a couple I'm a little behind with. This last week was kind of crazy. Had a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so I got this pattern in. Now I have the wings that I want to make sure that are going to be darker in here. And then these are going to go out, so I can even put a pattern in here. I have this line. I'm going to put that dark just like the other ones because that's what they're coming off of. I'm going to lose it a little bit here. I'll bring it out a little bit more later. So that's looking pretty bold, but wait until you see what I do with it. When you tap into your black pan pastel, you want to realize that whatever you put down first is going to be the darkest. So I can always wipe off on my towel. That will help. Or because you want to go up a little bit slower. So if I know I'm going to go dark, I know that these arm underneath the wings are going to be darker. So I could push that pastel in here first. Now it's going to get where some of my marks will go away, but you're going to see how I'm going to bring it back. I got this little guy's beak. I don't want to lose his beak. So this pattern I'm going to put in, I just, if you haven't noticed yet, I love scallops. And that is just a subconscious pattern that I do a lot of. And I don't know, it makes me happy. So I try not to overthink it. Just like, so it's okay that those edges blend in there because I'm going to be putting this burst of pattern over it. And then I'm going to be bringing out the highlight. I don't have to be perfect with this wing over here. I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to get this wing in here. So you have to think, you know, is your bird a dark bird? Is it a whiter bird? I'm not trying to overthink that either. I'm just going, you know what? He's just a cute bird. If I look at a reference, that reference is a lot of time in different lighting, especially when you're doing a whimsical piece. So you could plan this out with like a thumbnail, but I don't really do that as much. Okay, so I'm going to transition here into the little bird's belly here. Just trying to get these edges to be a little stronger. Now I have a line here where I would like to do something separate. The lines kind of help me come up with separations for the patterns that I want to do. And down here is going to be darker anyway, so you're going to see how I'm going to bring up the light. Brace yourself, it's happening in just a moment here. So I've already worn out this tip because I'm being a little rough today with the wands. Okay, so just to get our initial color down, so you have to have some of the values put in because I don't want to pull the pattern up so much where I lose it. Then I have a tendency to go in and out, having to go back and forth a little too much. Okay, so I've got that core in there, and now I'm going to bring that up. Now I'm going to zoom in. I think I'll be able to zoom in quite a bit for this guy. And then I'll get my lighting here. All right. I don't know how that stayed focused when I zoomed in, but we won't overthink things. Let me check up on chat here before I put the pattern in. Oh, we're at 35. We're getting close. I just have a plastic container, have them upright. Okay, so you guys are just talking about stencils. So glad you're here, Helene. Helene's got a question. Hi, Dawn. I'm wondering about your Saturday class. Is it of the pick in the newsletter? Yeah. And we're going to make something a lot like this on Saturday. It's similar to this. And it's called a Journey of Light. That was the sample I was showing you. Yeah, it's going to be something like that. I'll be sending out the new the line art for you guys and the supply list soon. You'll get that by Friday at least. See a couple spots there. Carcella, I've noticed that too, sadly. I tried keeping them in albums. Okay, you guys are talking about storage. I love the pattern on the main bird. He reminds me of a king, a leader, a regal robe. Like a bird pope. Oh, thank you. You know what's funny is, yeah, I almost put crowns on him. The mayor of Munchkin City. Don't overthink it. I too love scallops. Regarding scallops, I was doing them along before I started arting. Always found it so cool. Yeah, there's something about them that I love. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you this guy, and I'm going to use my wonderful pen tool, and you know, I was thinking normally whatever's in there, I do the same color to match them, but I'm just going to go with the flow here. Let me get this first scallop in. See how fun that is? So I'm outlining them because the white is right up against the black. So to do that, I got to give it something to rest on. Now where the armpits are, I think I'm going to leave the armpits. The wings, the wings, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to try to radiate these out, so that can be a little challenging. I might have to rework this beak a little bit, but we'll just rotating my pen eraser. Yeah, I like the radiating of the scallops. And so you're going to see how all these patterns are going to start coming in together. I probably should have scooted over that center a little bit more of the radiating, but I didn't. I think in the aspect, the big picture of things, that's not going to be as bad. So you can see how I'm going to start rolling that in. I think what I'm going to do is, I had that dark that I put in here. I don't know why I did that, but I did that. That's going to go dark in here. I'm going to put more dark in there when I blend it in. But you can see how I'm not wanting to have a hard line right here. And now I'm just going to work down to the whole piece. And going over them with the pen on the edges cleans up the edges and brings out that shape even more. So I got to think about where that radiant starts. And I'm thinking like that center is probably right there. The center is probably right here. A lot of times I have to wipe off this tip. I'll sometimes even have to cut it off, or, you know. Now I'm thinking that I'm going to do that center right here. I'm going to stand back here. I'm really liking that. Like the center one is, I really, the idea of doing the heads more realistic and having the bodies be a little bit more unrealistic is fun to me. So I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out. Oh, I just zoomed in. Should I zoom in more? I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay, just a second. I gotta focus this. You're not gonna see his little head, but okay. That's about as close as I'm gonna get. I hope that helps you, Paula. Now, I don't know who you're at. Oh, you're saying you can cast to your television. That really helps, blowing it up on a big TV. The bird pope is funny, in case you're wondering what I'm all laughing about. Oh, you guys are so funny. Okay, so I'm caught up on chat. So now I'm going to just work on this pattern here. You guys can see a little closer. It's not all perfect. We're just trying to get that overall look in there. You can always go over it again with some spots that maybe didn't get in there as good. I got to go around the edge first. So it's pulling that color up. You can see that with the tip now, since we're so close. It's going to pull that up. I rotate this too. So I will look at it and go, okay, that edge is wearing, so I'll try to rotate it and get a finer edge. I do that kind of subconsciously, but and then if there's sloughing and say it sticks on the page like that, I really love this. It's totally optional. This is a fan brush, and this fan brush, I think you can see it up here, put it right in front. I've worn it down because I've used it on sanded paper and all of that. This is a big one. This is a, let me see if it's got a 12. This is a 12. So watch, I want you guys, this is a good one. Now, if you're looking away, watch for a moment. Sometimes you guys are multitasking. So I'm going to show you that this is not going to just fluff off. A lot of people have this thought that the pastel is so fragile that it's just going to smear off the thing. No, I can brush this with this brush and it does not smear my work. A lot of that is about your paper and what supplies you're using. The PanPastel is ultra fine, so it's going to sit in the paper differently. And it also allows you to pull up better. If I was using charcoal, as you know, charcoal I'm using for my structure. So if I used charcoal to do all this with, I think I'm going to put these highlights over. So I'm going to go over, over, over. That's going to connect the scallops. I think I'm going to like that better. Yeah. Now I got to think where that center is for where it's radiating. Now if I was working really small, see how that build up right there? Can you see that? That I'm going to pull, just take my fingernail. Sometimes I'll just even bite off the end with my fingernail a little bit. Now you can make yours not radiate. You can do them straight down if you wanted to. Okay, so I think I'm going to finish this out where it goes down here. And then I can put a stencil in the belly here. But I'm going to show you before I do that, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for like the wings. So I think if for the wings, I'm just going to go down with some lines going a different way. And we'll see if that works. So now that I have that structure all put in there, now I can take and push it back and pull it forward. So if you look up here, I'm going to load the side. I got my wand tilted here, and I'm going to go in here really gently and rub it. Tap back in again. And now what I'm doing is I'm pushing back that pattern where it's supposed to go into the darkness. So that's the values. If I leave it all white like that, you can see the difference of the sides. So I'm going to leave this wing because I'm probably going to pull it a little bit. I'm going to just touch it a little bit. This also makes his body rounded a little bit more. Now I'm going to load the outer side of this edge right on this side, and that's going to allow me to go into this and bring that up a little bit. I want to make sure I'm staying in frame here. Okay, I'm going to go down here and pull this one up a little bit more. So now, this is where maybe that's going to be enough. Maybe I don't want to pull up with the kneaded eraser, but I'm going to take and tone down a little bit of the wing and where it hits in by the person. Because the bird is going to have a little bit of a shadow right there. Maybe that's a little much, but you know, it's okay if I blur it out, but I can always, you know, if I did a little much, I can put it back in and then do it again. This one is like there. So, you know, do I like the pattern on the wings? We'll see. I'll see if I like that. So now I'm going to do a stencil right in the center here, and I'm thinking I might just go for it and do the one that we were working on, but we could have a pole. I haven't done a pole in a while. Let me zoom back out here for a sec so I can get his body in here. This is going to show you guys. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking we could put some stencil inside there. Now my goal is I really want to do a lot of really fun stencils. I don't want to hold back here. So I'm going to give you guys two choices. Oh, I'm not sure, but I already got lines going straight up in that one, so I think I'm going to skip that. I'm going to do these two for choices. So we're going to have the diamonds or what's that called? The pattern of life. We'll just call it a flower. Diamonds or the flower. And I'm going to do a poll here real quick. And then you guys can vote. And that's going to be the stencil that's going to go right here in the center. So I'm going to do flower. Now you're going to vote, Nichelle. Hi, Nichelle. You're going to vote. We're going to have a stencil. You guys can't vote yet. I have a poll that's going to come up. Wait, you guys. So I got a fancy poll, and we got a diamond. And then here we go. So the poll's going, and oh, I got to put my little question mark in there. Michelle's in the house. That's my sister-in-law, you guys. She's amazing. Nice to see you, Michelle. I miss you guys. We got to get another visit on the calendar. Okay, there's my poll. It should pop up on your screen, and then you can vote now. So we have 33 of you guys in the house. So let's vote. We got our flower or the diamond. And then while that's going, I'll start putting a little bit of pattern in this one because I really want to get that one going. God, my wand here. I got to switch out my tip for the wand here. Yes, I miss you. Oh, can you reverse stencil it by erasing instead of adding pastel? Can you, yeah, oh, Marty, let's try that out. Let's try that out, Marty. I love that idea. Okay, we're doing that after this one. Okay, we're doing the erase. I have done that before. That is a great question, Marty. I love that. Let me make sure I got the chats before. Well, Paula, I'm glad to show you the magic of the erasers in the pan pastel. It's pretty magical. I have a whole class called Simply Magic. I'm going to be doing another one with these whimsical women eventually here. That's my next class. Yes, you're going to need the erasers. This is the Mono Zero. It's the king of erasers, the queen of erasers. Oh, Helene, welcome. You know, Helene, the question, you can't pay for PayPal with the Pastel Insider. It has to be like a different credit card. A Pan Pastel can be used for any individual items, but for a monthly membership, it won't do it. The only way around it is if you have a why do I keep saying Pan Pastel? If you have a PayPal debit card, then I just enter the debit card in there and it'll take it like a credit card. So I have one of those. I don't know if everyone does, but it's a debit card. It's PayPal. It comes straight out of PayPal. But I've done that for a membership. But yeah, that's the only thing. You have to use a regular credit card number. You can't just do PayPal. But I'd love to have you in the group. That would be so much fun. So message me if you have any more questions on that, Helene. Okay, Pam says, your vision, artistry impress and inspire me every week. Now I just need to find a hideaway from the real world so I can just do art. Someplace with a personal chef. Oh, that sounds delightful, Pam. Okay, you guys are voting. And we're going to do the reverse stencil. Don't let me forget that, Marty. Yeah, we're going to definitely do that. Oh, you can't see the poll, Louise? Okay, you got it fixed. Michelle says, hi everyone, so happy to have a moment between meetings to sneak in. This is my most peaceful part of my afternoon. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing, Michelle. Oh, I'm sending you a hug, sister. Okay. Yeah, we're all going to go with Pam. So we got the diamond at 82%. I'm going to leave it up for just a second here. I'm going to put in a few more of these, and then we're going to put in the stencil, and then we're going to try the reverse stenciling before we go. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to get, so some of these I choose to take the time to put that pattern in there. If I go over it now, you can see how it'll still hold that pattern, and then I can just keep putting more in there. It's just a little bit of a game. So you can see that I want to use this oval wand for all of the little details here. And that's why I'm creating on these large pieces. You can do so much when you're larger for this. Okay, we got that going. Now I'm going to close the poll. It looks like diamond is the winner here. We'll see here. Okay, 82% picked the diamond, 17 voters. All right, here we go. We're gonna put the diamond in. Now, I really wanna order a diamond that doesn't have any of the worn stuff, but I think for today's, it's gonna work out perfect. I am going to rub off this red here real quick. It looks like it's pan pastel, and I don't want red to get into my work. I did not realize there was so much of it on here. Glad I cleared off this table so I could work on a few things. Okay. So I gotta find one that's kind of strong here where it doesn't have so much of the worn part in there. I think I'm gonna go with that. Okay. Here we go. Now I would try the reverse one on here, but I think I would rather go darker into this area because this bird is behind all the other two birds. If it was a forward bird, I could maybe do lighter stencils in there, but it's also in an area that's probably going to be the most shadowed in the whole piece. So that is the reason why I'm not going to do the eraser by pulling it, because of that. Now I might have to clean up this area a little bit right here. And I'm fine with that because I'm also going to try to use this. I'm going to use one of these. I have all these different shapes. And I have this one that is a, it's got like the triangles on the top. I'm gonna use this for the, to get this in here a little bit faster. I think there's the line ends right here. I think that is a wing right there. Yeah. So with this diamond pattern, I've just noticed you have to really get this pattern in there or it doesn't look good. So let's hope it looks better today. Make sure I got that line. So you can see I'm really spending my time getting that in there. It's going to be pretty dark, but I'll probably be able to pull up on it a bit. But we'll see. I think I'm going to want it to be dark. You definitely have to make sure it's like I'm going to have to clean up on the edges. Like I feel like it looks crooked and I really feel like I was straight. So it's probably just the... So see, here's what I have a problem with this stencil, is it blocks out spots. So when I use it, it has too much stuff blocked out in between. And so sometimes you just don't get that full look that I think I would like. I don't know if I love it. I think I'm gonna have to go in and marry it here and see how I feel about it. I think I really need to just go buy a stencil that's just solid diamonds. So now I'm getting it kind of married in there. I'm not going to just let it float and hang out. And then down here where it should stop, I'm going to clean this up. And then I can go clean these lines up. So the problem with it that I'm having is it is too dark for the piece, because now it looks like his chest is coming over everything. So I don't know if I love that one, but we're just going to see how I play with it. Okay, let me see what you guys. It would be so fun to all get together. Maybe dawn retreat in the future. I have a few retreats in the works here that are coming up. One is going to be, hopefully if that works out, it's going to be in the US, and then I have one that is going to be abroad. But I would love to get together and create with you guys. So I'm going to play with this one, and we're going to see if we can troubleshoot it together here. And I'm going to show you how value, this is a really good example of how value really can be strong here. And you got to see that right now, this area right here is a lot lighter, and then this one's going a lot darker. So I got to bring that plane up so his stomach feels like it's part of itself and it's not just floating there. So I'm going to carefully use my kneaded eraser. Now there was a little big chunk of pastel there, so now it's and I got to move that eraser around a bit so you can see how they're now starting to come together and that plane starting to move up. So when you get that plane moving up, I'm doing it slowly so you can see how they're starting to come together. Now I'm shaping that kneaded eraser on my thumb. My hands are a mess. We don't care, right? Just as long as I don't touch my face. If I got pastel on my face, you guys better tell me. Okay, so I'm getting that into a nice ball because I don't want sharp lines to be pulled. So this is where you got to kind of watch and just do it slowly. I'm not sure about this little spot right there. So that's starting to bring those together in a way where I'm liking the diamond a lot better. So I might have to finagle that a little bit where, let's say I got my pattern coming in, I can even put the stencil over it and put it back again if I've taken too much of it up, because I didn't know that was going to be an issue. So my values weren't really set up initially to be able to take that pattern and then have it turn out. So I can even pull up a lot of this in the center, see? So we're going to get where, even if it's pulling that black, it's still going to give like that bird has that pattern and it is part of the bird. So now he's looking really, like these guys look like they're on the town in Las Vegas or something. Like, it'll be interesting to see how this all turns out. Okay, let me see here. No rogue pastel on my face. Well, that's good. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it right now for the reasons that I gave you, because I think it's looking pretty good now. Back of my neck, he thought I was bruised. What was that word, finagle? Okay, I don't know what that word was. And Michelle, I'm confused. Oh, here it is. Michelle says, I had pastel on my back the other day. My partner saw it when we walked the dogs. The back of your neck, he thought I was bruised. Yeah, if you have it on your hand, you scratch the back of your neck, for sure is going to get in there. Okay, so you can see I brought that up. Now I want to show you how I can, like, say I brought that pattern up, but it kind of, you know, dissipated a little bit more than I liked. The only problem with that is I have to kind of be able to find where I was. So I have to look for some things to really get that pattern lined back up here. And is that the same one? Yeah, I think that's the same one. So that can be a little tricky because I feel like and then I can bring it back in there a little bit and maybe get it back, but then the surrounding areas will be brought up. So let's see if this is a good fix for that, or is that not, am I going to have to pull it up again? Well, this is what you got to test. You got to test and play, because it's so forgiving that whatever I do, I can always fix it. That is the magic of this whole thing. The magic of this is probably the most forgiving technique. So now I can look, now I've put that pattern back in a little stronger, and now the under part is the highlights up, so it's not so hanging out from the rest of the body. So the body isn't jumping off a cliff here. So initially that looked like it was a skirt, and I didn't want that. Okay. Oh, we're almost there. Finagle. There we go. I might have to finagle that a bit. Maybe I misheard. Oh. I probably said finagle. That sounds like me. Okay, you guys, what are you thinking about the diamonds now? I think I like the diamonds now, but at first I wasn't too excited about them. I don't know if I love these lines on the wings. I'm going to play with these wings a little bit before we go. I might let them be a little solid. And then we'll see where it leads us. So at least we leave today with one kind of going. The diamonds have become more supporting character instead of jumping out so harshly. I agree. Susan likes the diamonds. Awesome. Okay, so now I have a little bit more left on this character here. I don't know what I'm going to do with the wings yet. I think you know what? Let's just see what this looks like really quick. This is where you get to play and you get to go, okay, oh, we got to do the reverse. So I got to do this one thing, and then I'm going to do the reverse stencil on a part before we go. So I think with everything going down, it might be what I don't love about the wings. So I'm going to see if I do these little, you want to create a shape that's going with the flow of the wing. So I can play with that a little bit and see how that direction change now makes me feel like and then on that wing there's going to be a highlight there. So I'm going to take my kneaded eraser that I have nicely shaped, and I can pull the edge of that wing, and it's going to marry that pattern into the piece. Oh, they're going to be fun. I'm excited about them. I don't know, we're on an adventure, folks. Hold on. Okay, we're going to do the reverse stencil. Now I'm going to try the reverse stencil in a spot that's just, I'm just going to do the flowers here, and I might try a smaller one for the reverse stencil. I got these kind of clocks, and oh, this might be interesting. Let's do, well, that one might be hard for it to come out. Okay, I'm just having an indecisive moment. I'll just stick with my initial one and then put in something a little bit later because this is going to be bolder. Let's just go bolder with this and just try it and see what it looks like. So I'm going to bring up some of this. So here's the thing. I'm going to bring up my values a little bit more in the area I'm going to use the stencil, because if I don't do this now, I don't want to go over it necessarily. And we'll see what that does, because if I have to change the values, then I'm going to have to go over that. And that's fine too, because it's reversed, but you can see how I'm, oh, I got to zoom out a little bit. I'll just move over like that. Okay. Finagle is part of my own verbiage. It's so funny. Oh, Michelle, thanks for cheering everyone on to support me. I really appreciate it so much. I think you've almost been to, like, a few of you have been to almost all my lives, and I just can't thank you enough. I just really appreciate it. Okay, so I've built that up a little bit, and you can see how I've done that. And now we're just going to do a test with the reverse. And you know what? I might change the stencil. I don't know later, but I'm just going to play around and just see what it looks like, because that's what this is all about. So I'm just using this might be a little bit too small of a stencil to do this. Let me try the kneaded eraser. Yeah, I think this one might be a little small. I'd have to get pretty aggressive, and that's okay. So I'm going to lose a lot of eraser to do this look, because it's got to push in. So it's going to literally slough my eraser off. Ooh, that's fun. Now I'm trying to fade it. Well, I like that. That's a fun idea. You know, I totally forgot about that. I've done it before. Now, you can fade it now by just going into it. I can even tone it down. And then it becomes part of the paper. Gosh, that's really cool. Okay, I'm gonna back out so you guys can see the whole thing and see where it's going. Well, that... Come on, camera. There we go. I'm just going to keep it right there. And it's in focus. I don't know how that meant. So you can see where we're going with him. He almost looks like, because of the values I put right in here, that he's part inside this circle. I think this is just going to take a lot of building up and figuring out where the values are from the outside versus the thing. And I think what'll be fun is I can make those edges come on in and meet these to where it's not as harsh of a transition. I think that's the whole exploration of it all. So it's going to take just getting some of these, you know, built up, and then I can play around with that. And so I'll probably explore a little bit more of that, and we'll see where we go here. So I'm going to see what you guys are chatting about here. Isn't that neat? That's really cool. Thanks for reminding us, Marty. Yeah, I love the reverse stencil. Well, I'm just really excited to be on a, you know, exploring on a leading edge, just trying some things out, seeing where it leads. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And once I get these values in of the other birds and they're the main characters, then I can play with the stencils, and maybe I take more off, maybe I put more on. We're just going to have some fun because you can see how easy it is to change it. And I think the more I have built up, the more I'll be able to go back and forth with it all. So I hope you guys will come back on Thursday and see where it's going. I'm going to work a little bit of it on Wednesday, so that's for the Pastel Insiders, and then we'll hopefully get it to a really good finish point on Thursday. So for those of you, if you're interested, I have that the special event this Saturday. You can join the Pastel Insider and join the event where we're going to be making something similar to this owl. It's called the Journey of Light, and that's going to be a private event. So I'm excited to try that out and see how that works to celebrate the membership. So I look forward to seeing you guys there too. Let's see, this is a great group. I get off at work at 4:30, so it's the perfect today. Thank you, Dawn. You're welcome, Paula. Thank you, Sharon, Louise, Stacy, Susan, Karen. Prairie Girl came. Oh, do one of the birds in the reverse stencil. I'm gonna definitely play with the birds with some of the reverse stenciling, because the reverse stenciling is a lot like this mark making for the erasers, so it's gonna really blend in really nicely, so I'll play with that too. All right, you guys, well, we're gonna see you on Thursday for the part 2 to finish this off. And you guys take care. This has been a great day. I'm so glad to be back. And for those of you, I know a couple of you going through surgery and had people pass away. And I'm just sending you lots of support and good healing energy to all of you. All right, you guys, I will see you on Thursday. Take care.